Hi, my name is Forrest Hines, and this is my introduction speech. Up until the sixth grade, I could not read. Now, how could the son of two well-educated individuals end up so far behind in his education? It's simple. I was homeschooled. In this speech, I'm going to talk about stories and important moments from my life. These topics are what I wrote about in my college essays. They're what helped me get into every school I applied to and receive several scholarships. In this speech, I'm going to discuss my early childhood reality of homeschooling, the importance of education in my middle school, high school, and college years, and my friends and family. My early childhood reality was different from most people's. Homeschooling is not the same experience for everyone. It's very much dependent on the parents. I had friends whose parents pushed them very hard to do work that were very worried that they would fall behind. And when they eventually started school, they were ahead. That was not the case for me. My mom was more easygoing than others, and we weren't held to a very high standard. My mom didn't push us to learn. She believed it was best to teach us things when we showed interest in learning them. It meant I fell behind very quickly. The occasional educational trip to museum or backyard science experiment filled in as my education. When I did eventually start school, I was behind in every subject. I struggled with simple math, had a Lexile score equivalent to a kindergartner's. Although one very positive homeschooling experience that did come from my time were the friends I made. We were part of a large homeschooling group with dozens of families throughout my neighborhood. It was this it was this group where I met my two best friends. Every week we would go to the beach, play soccer, go to the woods, neighborhood parks, and to each other's houses. Due to the amount of time we spent together, and since we all got along so well, we all pretty much had the same outlook on everything. We, it was like having twin brothers who looked nothing alike. My day-to-day life when I wasn't with my friends was pretty different from other children as well. I had no responsibilities, no schoolwork, and no determination to get any of those things. Instead of going to school, I would pick up whatever movie I wanted to watch and watch it. I would play video games as long as I wanted. I would go play games around town with my older brothers and his friends. Most kids, either at school or by their parents, are forced to do things they don't want to do. I was no different, but I was often given more choices than a lot of other kids. My parents didn't make me put on a coat or eat my dinner. They figured I would learn lessons on my own, which I did. I froze in the cold weather and went hungry enough nights that I started to make the right choices, the choices they wanted me to make. I realized I could make my own decisions, and they would often be the right ones. You can imagine the shock I went through when I started school. Education is a huge part of my life. I went through a huge transition in my time at middle school. I found myself in high school and continued to build a better me in college. I was very behind when I started school in the sixth grade after my mother passed away from lupus in 2010. I took a variety of tests for the school so that they could accurately place me in classes that fit my ability. My Lexile score was hundreds of points below the average for my age, so they put me in a Read 180 program. Pretty much all my classes were filled with kids who I had little in common with. I was with special ed kids, troublemakers, kids who didn't really care about their education. The first year was very difficult. It took me a long time to do my homework. I would come home, work for hours, and then go to bed. I realized one day that I was being held to a different standard from my peers. After we all gave history presentations about ancient civilizations, and I saw the amount of care and effort that my peers put into their work, and how sloppily put together mine was, and how many run-on sentences were in there, I realized that I was being graded on a different standard. The quality of my work had no effect. It was just the effort I put in. Because my teachers knew I was trying my best. I would turn in pitiful work compared to my peers and get the same grade. Because they knew I was trying my best. I felt shame and pity for myself that day. That is when I decided I wouldn't let that happen again. I spent the next several years working hard in every subject, By the time 8th grade came around, I was all caught up, had moved to normal level classes. When I started, I had Lexile score hundreds below the average. When I finished middle school, I was hundreds above the average. When I started high school, I still felt like I didn't belong. I found the work in all my classes was far too easy. I didn't really have anything in common with anybody in my classes. The thing that I had in high school that I didn't have in middle school was self-confidence. I got that from seeing the achievements that I made in middle school. I knew I could do whatever I set my mind to. I began to apply myself more and work harder in my classes, started reading for pleasure, going to science shows on the regular, and tried learning higher level math on my own. I continued to impress my teachers and move up in my classes, from average to accelerated and then AP. It was accelerated in AP where I finally felt I was in my place. I made friends who had the same interests as me. I felt challenged, not overloaded in my classes. I discovered the balance of school and friends that I was always looking for. I even started working and developed a work ethic in high school. It was then where I figured out where I wanted my life to go. College is very much the same. I toe the line between education and social life that I like. It makes me happy and fulfilled. I discovered my love for engineering and learned how to survive on my own. When I look back on the lessons I learned when I was a middle schooler and how they still affect me today, I look at the accomplishments and improvements I made, and I feel confident and proud of what I have done. I look at the friends I made along the way and know that none of the time was wasted. Although my education is a very important part of my life, it does not compare to the importance of my friends and family. My friends have always been a present and dominant force in my life. Me and my friends have made great changes from our days in homeschooling of building forts in the woods, playing video games together, and playing pretend with sticks and Nerf guns. We all now do variations of the things we used to. We go to the movies, we go on trips together, we have fun. We've always enjoyed each other's company, and I'm sure we always will. Even though we made other friends, that never changed how close we all still are. We still talk daily and do everything together. The summer after high school, we took a cross-country road trip together. 13,666 miles, 31 days, 22 states, 9 national parks, 6 cities, and 3 best friends. It was single-handedly the best month of my life. My family is also very important to me and has always been supportive. My family and I have always been very close. My dad remarried a couple years after my mom died. We changed from a house of 4 men to an 8-person and 2-dog family. And now my family is bigger and closer than it ever was before. We eat dinner together every night, play board games, watch movies. My family has always been supportive and always encouraged me to be my best self. In conclusion, I have worked hard and long to improve myself and become the person I wanted to be. I worked hard to accelerate academically and discovered along the way my passion for engineering. Although I have always kept my friends and family close, and I would not be the same person I am today without them, every step along the way. I don't regret a moment of my life because every experience and lesson I have helped me get to the point I am today. If a 6th grader who is underperforming in every way can make the decision to turn their life around, why can't you?